Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is George. So, George, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Yeah, sure. At the moment, I'm living in London. I just moved here a couple of weeks ago, but I was traveling for the last 6-7 months. And basically, I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of FOMO Magazine. I've actually got the magazine here with me, the latest edition. And yeah, we do the latest, kind of content and updates for the last 7 months in the Solana ecosystem. And I think I met your colleague in India when I was there for one of the hacker houses.
Awesome. So how did you even get the idea to start this magazine, to even start this company?
Yeah, good question. So basically, a few of us, we're already in like these NFT groups. We were chatting on Twitter, and we heavily, we're involved in Solana quite a lot. And someone came up with the idea to attend this. It was called a London Hacker House. So it's just basically where people meet, form teams or enter projects. We met there for the first time in real life, and then we kind of came up with the idea of, I think we called it DUA Media at the time. It was just to do like video content, that kind of thing. It was very slow. It didn't really go anywhere. We all had our own individual jobs. And then we just kind of thought, everyone does newsletters. Let's try like a magazine. Came up with the idea, brainstormed it, came up with FOMO. And yeah, we took the first one to NFT Paris and just handed it out for free. And then we got a really good reaction and that kind of feedback from that. And that was when we decided to like kind of take it full time. And here we are now.
That's awesome. So I feel like, just to your point, right, that people have this perception, magazines are outdated. It's like many of these magazines like have cut back. So how do you really go through this, or this kind of, I guess, bottleneck or perception that people have like a magazine saying, hey, listen, the magazines are still cool, it's still relevant. How do you really just make sure that people understand the value that you're giving them with this magazine?
Yeah, so I think if we just kind of made it maybe more of like a, like a plain kind of magazine where it was like the latest crypto news or kind of updates like that, I think it would be harder to sell. But I think our real like kind of touch point is the fact that Solana has such a, we do look at other chains as well, but Solana has such a great community. They have such great marketing. And then, yeah, it just comes down to the artwork and the NFTs that they have. So normally on every front cover we've pretty much done, we have like a very prominent or, big NFT on the front cover. And because that artwork is so appealing, we're kind of almost going to like a comic strip kind of style. And I think that's really where you can show off the artwork in the system. And then we still, we put DeFi, security, the latest projects, all that stuff too. But I think that's what attracts people to it rather than like the normal, maybe, magazine.
So how many subscribers do you have today?
So digitally, we have around 3,500. We just send like a PDF to their email. And then physical subscribers, like around the world that we actually send it to, they paid in Sol for that. We've actually got around 20. But then really where we've seen our success is when we go to these events, right? We have a stand there and, I've sold 60 in person. We sold 135 in person at India. And then we've obviously got Breakpoint, which is a big event in Amsterdam that's coming up in a couple of weeks.
So the PDF version you hand out, like it's like a free PDF, you're charging for the physical magazine. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And we do plan to do like an NFT where it will just be the PDF like popping out of the NFT, and you'll be able to subscribe to that.
So how do you decide? So how do you decide your pricing structure for the magazine, and I guess like in terms of like the PDF, I'm assuming you're probably just not offering as much value for the free version. So what does that look like?
So the PDF is essentially it is just the magazine but in digital form. Like you can like flip the pages. We've got it like on a website that where you can just flip through. And sorry, what was the other question about? How do we decide the pricing? Yeah, so the beginning stages, it's just more about getting the brand and our name out there. So it was quite cheap for free at first. And then we went, I think, to like, a few dollars, and we would give away maybe a t-shirt or we'd give away some cash back in like another currency. So For example, we're sponsored or powered by Bonk at the moment, which is like a community coin on Solana. So when people would buy the magazine for say $4 $4, they would get $1 back in Bonk, like into their wallet. So it's encouraging people to use the crypto technology. They get the magazine and they also get like some cash back in return.
That's awesome. So what besides that has been like your marketing plan? Are you in like sort of Telegram chats or like where are you finding your customers?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, we're fortunate that even before this thing started, we're already quite kind of like big players in the space. So we'd already made a few connections. We traveled to all these events. So not only do we have like good presence on Twitter individually, we now meet people, you know, in real life. And I think that's where we're able to get people to, you know, pay for these ads to be in the magazine. More recently, we've started doing media too. So we like record what's going on at events or like a side event kind of party. And that's something, yeah, that we're starting to generate income from as well.
So what is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now in the business?
Biggest challenge, I just think, you know, in all of crypto, like we're in a niche kind of bubble in Solana. So it's great that we can expand there. Like we're the #1 magazine, we're getting well known, but it's just how we take it further than that. How are we going to onboard, you know, these Web2, these normies? And yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge. And that's what we want to move into, like with education. So
it's more of like using X as a platform to leverage educating the average person about really, you know, what you're doing and say, hey, listen, like this is a really important thing. And if you want to get more information, which I'm sure you do, you have to read this magazine. I guess it's more of like talking about like your bigger vision, right? Because you're saying that for you, a big thing is education, right? It's getting in front of people on X, putting out content because you're not just targeting people who are already in the community. You're targeting people that have, you know, might just not have knowledge. I think that most people don't have knowledge of exactly what this is all about. So, you know, getting in front of the average person on X and essentially leveraging that, correct?
yeah, it's also it's leveraging that, but it's also encouraging like the exclusive content that we want to put out. A good example is like maybe what Mr. Beast has done, or like Sidemen, which is like people subscribe and every month they're going to get like videos or interviews or content in the magazine, kind of stuff which they're not going to experience from your usual like Cointelegraph or CoinDesk or, you know, those kind of things. So not only do we want to onboard people, because we will obviously give stuff out for free and as we get bigger, but we also want to cater to that kind of niche and like super fan community as well, where we'll reward people that are in that. If they hold so many magazines, they can get a hoodie, they can come to a party we throw, or they get discount on being on the next front cover, or, you know, there's going to be loads of benefits to being like a loyal customer, essentially.
Awesome. So like, in terms of running ads, like how much, like, you know, do you typically charge to run ads in the magazine?
Yeah, so I think at first it obviously depends where you are, right? Like front cover, middle, back cover, inside, all of that varies. But just let's just say like the full page, for example, I think we started off at like $100 or maybe even for free. Then we went to $200. And then just recently for Breakpoint, because it's such like a big event, we're charging $400 for a full page. And, you know, we've had people paying for that because because we're so well known now, and it will be so many eyes will be seeing that at this event.
That's awesome. So you mentioned that for you, really more of your vision is creating this community. So I guess like if we're going to chat again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for the business?
Oh, wow, yeah, good question. Yeah, I'd like to say that just in general, I think crypto is obviously doing very well. For us, obviously, Solana is a huge focus on that. So I want us to really be one of the biggest names in Solana. I want us to be, you know, recording all their latest news, bits that comes out, that et cetera, et cetera. But also, I'd like to get to the point that, yeah, maybe the magazine is in a store somewhere, or it's going to be in events that are outside of crypto. But then also, it's a tough one. I feel as though it really depends on the market. It depends what kind of happens. I'd like to see more and more people using NFTs. I think that's the real goal. I think that's where I see most utility. Like I've seen a company recently is doing like rail cards. They're going to be used as like NFTs, or you're going to have ticketing for cinema, music, that kind of thing. So that's where I'd like to see the magazine. I'd like to see people using a wallet regularly and being able to view that content from a wallet. And blockchain ensures that, you know, you've got the true ownership, the true identity, you can send it to a friend and you know it's the actual edition. Like say if we did 20 or 200 editions a month of this magazine, no one can copy that. No one can, create more than maybe what there is or a different version. Whereas when you look at things like Pokemon cards or other collectibles that are out there, it's hard to tell what the true collection is or who owns the. I think that's what blockchain really solves.
Makes sense. So in terms of like NFTs, right? It's like how do you, get this level of encouragement back to people? So I think that many people now are struggling with, they don't believe NFTs. They don't think it's a high, value thing. So how do you really, encourage people about NFTs?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to vocabulary. Like when anyone hears the word NFT now, it's just got like a negative connotation. So I think the best way to solve that problem is in real life events. So getting people to attend Web3 crypto events without really realizing that they're at one. So like they're going to a music event or an art event, and then they're downloading a wallet or they're using an NFT and they don't really know that they're using it. So it's just about teaching people about the technology before like they hear the word NFT or scam or it. And the only way you can do that is like in real life and throwing the right events. If it's just online on X, etc., it's hard to break through there.
Makes sense. What would you say is the biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this company?
This piece of advice. I mean, I think there's a lot of things we've done right. There's not too many things, touch wood, I think we've done wrong at the beginning. But bits of advice I could say is definitely picking your team, making sure taking that time to make sure you've got the right team that wants to achieve these goals. Because I know people that have, co-founded with the wrong friends or partners, etc. And it goes wrong. And if it goes wrong, that's very hard to fix and bring new people in. So you need to make sure that you've got the foundings of a great team. And you also need to make sure that you have a slow approach. Don't try to achieve too much too quickly. Like a lot of people will reach out to you, partner with me, do this. I want you here at this event. And it's down to you and the team to pick the right people and the right steps you're going to take. For us, like we did a lot of things for free and we attempted these big events and we made the right connections. We didn't just throw a load of money at this magazine and then try and launch in a store. It was a slow, gradual step to get to where we are. So I'd say that's the best piece of advice. And obviously it's hard in a bear market, but I think that's where you can reap the most rewards when it comes to a bull. It's easy to launch a project in a bull market in my eyes. So
makes sense. Yeah. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your company website or the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, I would say for us, our website's not too great at the moment. I would say the best way is on X. So you've got at MAG FOMO, and then my X handle, if you want to contact me directly, is at crypto_slice SLICE.
Awesome. Well, George, it was a pleasure. We're rooting for you, and thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, awesome. I'd love to catch up again. Yeah, like you said, maybe 6 months time or something like that, see what's going on. And let's please chat offline as well. I'd love to know more about where this is going to get released and everything. So
yeah, sounds great. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Cheers. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. All right, bye.